Ukrainian and US officials have met in Saudi Arabia, with Ukraine expressing a willingness to accept an immediate 30-day ceasefire in the war with Russia. Middle East correspondent Matthew Doran joins us now from Jerusalem. Good morning, Matthew. This is big news. What happened? These negotiations were happening for quite a while in Saudi Arabia, and now it seems like there's been a breakthrough.
A significant breakthrough, Bridget. Good morning to you. This news has come through to us just in the last hour or so that Ukrainian officials have expressed a willingness to agree to an immediate month-long ceasefire in the war with Russia. We do need to wrap this in a pretty significant caveat that it still needs to be approved by Russia. This is subject to approval coming from the Kremlin, and that is why this is obviously very, very much of note, but it does not mean that fighting is going to end immediately in Ukraine. We do need to keep that in mind there. These meetings had been happening in the Saudi Arabian coastal city of Jeddah, and the officials have been locked behind closed doors for many, many hours. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has not been at these meetings. He did arrive in Jeddah last night to meet with the Saudi Arabian Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, but he's left the negotiations with senior US officials to senior members of his own administration, including his Chief of Staff, Andrei Yermak. We know that the US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and the US National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, have been also taking part in these negotiations. And a few hours into those talks, Mike Waltz did emerge from the meeting alongside Marco Rubio. He was asked by reporters how things were going, and he said, quote, "We're getting there." It seems as though they have arrived at this position of an immediate 30-day ceasefire if Russia does agree to that situation. The other takeout from this meeting that we've just learned is that the US is reinstating its military intelligence sharing with Kyiv. This is something that had been halted in the last couple of days after that very fiery meeting between Volodymyr Zelensky and the US President Donald Trump in the Oval Office about a week and a half ago. That is something that US officials had said did not extend to anything that Kyiv needed for Ukraine's defense against Russia, but other elements of military intelligence sharing had been halted. That will be reinstated as a result of these talks today. And we are also hearing that the proposed agreement on critical minerals between the US and Ukraine, there is a suggestion there that that deal could be signed in the next couple of days or so. That would give the United States access to Ukraine's critical minerals reserves and also result in the establishment of a joint fund between the US and Ukraine to benefit from the proceeds of any sales there. So quite a bit of movement happening in the Saudi Arabian city of Jeddah, and we'll monitor to see what sort of reaction there is, particularly from the Kremlin, as they do have to approve this. But we'll monitor that throughout the morning for you. Bridget?
Matthew Doran, thanks very much.